Carly, let's jump in here and talk about the leads and then the platform behind that your team needs, or you need to build a team, or your team needs to build an even larger team this year. And before we kind of kick off, I'll let you guys, Calvin's there. Ask any questions you have. If it's, he thinks it's a good one for everybody, he may pipe in on me and stop me and have me answer it for the group. Otherwise, he'll be chatting back there with you guys. Brevity was built by agents for agents. I had an agent the other day that recently new adoptee of Brivity, and I was doing a little training session with her team, and she said, it's obvious to me that this was built by people that do real estate. And we do real estate here at Brivity, and our founder, Ben Kinney, has a business called Place that has 100 real estate teams across the country, and all of those teams use Brivity. So we're in markets from Birmingham, Alabama to Chicago to, some of the smaller places out in rural California. We have teams operating in a lot of different markets and a lot of different environments, and we built Brivity to support those teams. So we know that it's working in our business. Now, Ben's mission is to help you grow your business through systems and leverage. And look, if you want to have a bigger business this year than you had last year, and I'm chuckling because the door in the office is open. You guys can tell I'm a little bit loud. So somebody's going to come and shut that door at some point, or at least, Kevin, that's going to be my goal, to get somebody in this office to come shut that door because I'm annoying them. All right, sidetrack. If you want to grow your business more in 2022 than you do in 2021, you have, Brent, my guy, you have two options. Okay. Option number one, work more hours. Brent, you want to work more hours, bud? He just came in here to fix our internet. He doesn't want to work more hours. Option number two, you can get more efficient, right? And the only way to get more efficient in your business is through a little bit of leverage and then some systems and models. So our mission is to help you put those systems and build that leverage around your business. And then Ben's asked me every time we talk about Brivity to somebody that's thinking about joining, that we remind you that we have no contracts. We get up every day to win your business. We're not looking to lock you in for a year and then show up in month 11, Trisha, and be like, hey, Trisha, I hope everything's been good for the last 11 months. Are you going to renew? So no contracts, right? Cancel anytime, no contracts. Now, this is kind of a map of the Brivity platform. And so on the left, we've got kind of representing traffic, right? All the places that we know out there, including, by the way, not just online, but people sit behind their mailbox or people sit behind their door or they come into your open house, right? There's traffic in a lot of places. If we can put the right content and messaging, thanks, gentlemen, in front of that traffic, we can potentially capture them with a tool. And the tool will depend on where we are or what's happening, right? Because if they're behind their mailbox and we put a certain message in front of them, maybe it's, hey, your neighbor's houses are selling for a lot. Are you curious what yours is worth? The tool that we're going to use to capture them would be the postcard, right? And maybe a QR code or short text code or even a unique URL on the postcard. If they were, on our website, obviously that messaging is different and the capture tool is the website itself. So the tool that we're going to use is going to kind of be a function of where that consumer is. But no matter where they're at, right, we can help you figure out or develop the right content and messaging to put in front of them so that we can capture them where into our database, right? And the CRM kind of at the center of this whole thing is representative of your database. And there's all kinds of tools that we've built. We're going to discuss some of those, right, to help you nurture that lead until, if they're a seller, and Angelica, they want you to come out to their house and sit down, right? Ultimately, that's what you're nurturing them to that point. When they're a buyer, Trisha, might be, they call you on the phone and say, Trisha, we want to go see this house, right? You've been nurturing them. They've been in your system for 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half, 5 years, who knows how long. We've got tools to nurture them no matter how long they're in there. And then eventually they call you. Now, out of that, come sit down at my house, right? Or, hey, we'd like to go see a home. Hopefully comes a transaction. And Brivity has inside of it transaction management. So we're moving from left to right across this page. Now, when we close that transaction, and there's a whole process, and potentially there's systems and models that you need to help you be a better closer of those transactions, to help your clients have a better experience, right? But at the end of the day, we get high five, a paycheck. We are all in this business. And when you get off this call with me today, you're going to go back into your business and you're doing something along one of these lanes here. You're either trying to find where people are, right? You're trying to figure out how to get in front of them and kind of give them the right message. So they're like, hey, I'm interested in working with you, right? Or we can get them into the database. Then every day you're nurturing these leads, trying to figure out like who's going to be my next buyer and seller. And then once we get those people, we have to manage that transaction all the way through to a paycheck. I promise you, when you leave here today, outside of maybe like recruiting for your business, you're doing something in one of these links when we finish this call. We want you to do it all in one place. So let's start kind of at the top with the Brivity website.
Hey, Bob, real quick.
Yeah.
You had a great question. It's on our slide. So let's answer for Gary. How do we guarantee success when you say we're the only system that guarantees success in real estate?
Gary, that's an awesome question. And that's a really bold statement at the top there. So I appreciate you asking and kind of calling that out. So it's one thing to give you software. I think there's a lot of great software out there. Boomtown has great software. Conversion, Chime, Compass has built really great software for their organization. The way that we guarantee you success is we give you the playbook that Ben's teams are running in 100 locations across the country. We give you our auto plans. We give you our closing plans. We give you the ads that we run. Like, we literally give you everything. Now, I can't guarantee, Gary, that you're going to take all that stuff we do and go execute on it. But at the very least, I can guarantee you that we give you the whole system from end to end, not just the software. Okay. So that's the guarantee. Like, Ben will give you your money back. Right? If you got in here and you're like, this sucks, and 3 months in and nothing's working, we'll give you your money back. Now, we'll only do it if you're actually buying into the systems, right? We're not going to give you your money back just because you bought the software. Okay. But if you want to run our systems, we've had a money back guarantee for a long time. Again, software, there's some really great software everywhere. It's how the software works. An auto plan is not like, and we'll get into this here in a little bit. An auto plan, anybody can build an auto plan, right? A 33 touch, a drip campaign. We give you the one we've refined and honed over 12, 14 years of doing this. It's called the 10 days of pain, right? It's really, really effective at getting people to reply. Now, if you don't do that in conjunction, like if the 10 days of pain has tasks for the agent to call the lead at certain intervals, right? You can't come back to us later and say, hey, this isn't working. And we go into your system and there's, 500 tasks that were suggested you do, but you never did those things, right? So we give you the cadence, the rhythms, like how you work this. We've got a thing called our Brevity Agent Top 10, which is what our teams do every day inside of their Brevity. We train extensively to that. So it's not just the software. There's lots of good software out there. It's the systems behind the software. All right, so let's start with the website. I call our Brivity websites 99% customizable, you guys. And you can customize everything except the lead gen levers. The elements of the lead generation, we keep a tight handle on that because we've been doing it for 20 years in real estate, and we have a really good idea and a really good understanding of what those pages actually need to look like and why people click and where people's eyeballs go on a page. And so we just kind of control those pages to make sure that your websites are generating leads at a respectable clip, right? We unfortunately, over the year, we have people that say, I want to do that. I want to change this to a big flashing banner at the top. Well, I promise you at some point we've had a flashing banner at the top just to see if it increased the lead conversion, and we A/B tested it and it doesn't. It actually drives people away. So we control that. Everything else you would see on a website, on your website, on a Brevity website is customizable and relatively easily by you. We've got a drag and drop website editor that's super easy to drag blocks in and then add images and change font and this sort of thing. Now, this website we see right here is a gentleman in Prescott, Arizona, obviously, right? Find your place in Prescott. Has anybody on this call ever been to Prescott, Arizona? Just if you have, like, maybe raise your hand. Look, if you've been to Prescott, you know that it is like a snapshot of the Wild West. It is straight out of, like, they have the center of town is like the big courthouse that you could totally envision having been there since 1880. Travis's website, I think, does, like, just right when you land on it, does a really great job of connecting you to who this guy is. And that's our aim in helping you design and launch a beautiful, custom, unique website, is that it captures kind of the essence of how you do business. And so Travis he's a handshake guy, right? Like that's how they did business back in the old West. That's still how they do business in Prescott. And that's not actually him on the horse, but you would be hard pressed to know any different if you met this guy in person. Like he's a big cowboy belt buckle guy. Like his belt buckle, we know that's not Travis because Travis's belt buckle, we'd be able to see it kind of popping out behind the horse's head there. Like he wears one of the big ones, the ones he won doing rodeo. Like even down to like the way we spell out Prescott there in the kind of quill pen looking style. This website screams Prescott and Travis Bard. And our aim with you guys is to help you develop a website that screams, I'm unique. I'm not like the 150 other agents in my office. I'm not like the 150,000 other agents in my franchise or my brokerage, right? Like I have a unique brand, a unique business, and we want your website to represent that. Here's an example of a guy came to us and he said, hey, in my market, instant offers just came to town, right? This is a couple of years ago, OfferPad or Open Door, whoever just showed up, right? I need to create some content on my website, a page on my website that like highlights, and you can see right here that I can offer an instant offer too, because he went and hooked up with some other company that allows him to, if a seller comes and says, hey, we just want to sell like right now, what can you give us for that house? He can go do that. So we created this page for him. It's all about the stress-free way of selling your house and some of the sellers and the difference between a traditional sale and an instant offer. And our drag and drop interface allows you to have a lot of flexibility. And then right behind that, we have a full team of designers that can bring to life any website concept that you want. Now, here's another example. This is my mom sells real estate in Olympia, Washington. That little flyover shot right there that you just saw of that kind of old looking style building was the Olympia Brewery. And in our area, or in the Olympia area where my mom lives, that's an iconic shot. Like somebody showing up on the website is going to immediately connect with that website versus some national site that's got houses on there that don't even look like the houses in my area, right? They're going to identify with that Olympia Brewery shot. They're immediately, if nothing else, going to know I'm in a spot of somebody that kind of knows my area or the area I want. All right. So it's been about 2 years now. It's maybe been a little bit longer. Ben Kinney came to us and he said, I want to change the way that we do lead generation, right? And up until that point, and really for a long time, right? Since, let's say pre-Google, by the way, right? We've been doing internet lead generation in real estate in a very similar way, which is essentially pay-per-click, right? And even if you think about like Zillow leads, like they're just getting SEO and somebody's Googling homes for sale in Seattle and Zillow comes up and that person goes there, right? Or Zillow's got some brand recognition, that person goes there. But you who get the lead, it's ultimately just this consumer who sat down and thought to themselves, I'm kind of thinking about real estate, right? And for whatever reason, they engaged with an ad. And then traditionally, they've just been dumped to us as a lead who's, and there's some problems with that traditional model. Here are some of the problems. Like a lot of times the consumer, they don't remember where they were or like how you got their info, right? Sometimes they might fill something out on Zillow thinking like they're going to hear from Zillow, and all of a sudden you, the Remax or Keller Williams agent, is calling them and identifying yourselves as, Jim, or Gary Owen, the Remax agent here. Sorry, Gary, I don't know what brokerage you're with, but, and they're like, what? Like, I never called Remax or talked to Remax. Like, what are you talking about? Or I used to call a lot of leads. And it was very common that they'd be like, wait, what site? Yeah, I was on a bunch of sites. I'm not sure. And, they don't remember where they were. I bet like half of people on the internet today, especially because of Facebook, right? Like you could just grab them in their seat and spin them around. And as long as they weren't on Facebook, they'd clicked from Facebook to something else, right? You could spin them in their seat and go, what website are you on right now? And they'd be like, oh, well, that real estate website with all the houses in Seattle. And they'd be like, yeah, but what's the domain or the URL, And half of them would be like, what's a URL? But the other half would be like, I'm not sure. Like I was on Facebook and I clicked on it, but I don't know what website it is, right? I couldn't get back there. They don't know why you're contacting them. Unless you're calling them in the first 5 minutes after they got off that website, like you're calling them tomorrow, or God forbid, 2 or 3 days later, they're immediately on the defenses of their way. Go, well, why, huh? If I don't even remember, they'll be like I would have people all the time that I'd talk to, again, too late, right? Or I'd have tried them the first day and never got them. And by the 10th day, when I finally get them on the phone, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't remember doing that. Oh yeah. They don't know who you are, Gary, right? They're expecting Zillow and Gary Owen shows up, right? And then when Gary Owen does show up and he says, no, it's me, they go, well, I don't know who this guy is, right? They're not in tune to the message. And the reality is they don't care. And there's a reason why. Most of these people aren't ready. Like, they're just not ready. These leads that we've been getting, think about this. Zillow, 50 million visitors a month. I mean, maybe they get 60 now. It's a lot. There's 5.5 million home sales in the United States every year. Like, the number of leads coming out of Zillow, most of those people are not going to buy a house this year. I'm not saying Zillow generates 50 million leads. I'm just saying there's a lot of people on there looking that are not going to buy or sell a house this year. Right? And because of this, they're just not ready for your message. They don't care about what you got going on. This creates all kinds of problems for you, right? Like, we don't know a lot of times when a lead pops up in our world, like, do they own a house? Are they going to buy? Are they going to sell? Maybe they already own the house and they're not even going to sell the one they live in. They want to buy a couple of investment properties, or maybe they want to unload their investment property. Like, we don't know. Right? So a lot of times as we come in and start trying to talk to them, we're kind of searching, right? We don't know enough about their needs and their wants. Like, the best leads we get today in real estate, kind of pre what the program we designed, are I get one property, right? They're on Zillow or they're on my website, they register. I see the one property they were looking at that day they registered, right? Like, I can remember way back when I was calling a lot of leads and we had our real estate company. It was called Brio Realty. This is like at the beginning of the internet, basically, for real estate back in 2002 and 3. And I would get so excited when I'd see somebody who had clicked on like a $4 million property here in Washington State, right? And that was like the top of the market way back then. And like, I have like solid memories of being like, John, my partner, get in there, dude. Like, this guy looked at $4 million. And when you end up talking to him, we ended up calling that rich dad uncle, right? Rich dad uncle. Like, that guy, he could afford a $250,000 house. He just thought the $4 million one was really cool. So he clicked on that one. And ultimately we end up with a lot of leads where we don't really know enough about their wants and needs. They're cold calls a lot of times. They don't recognize us or our brand. Maybe if we're lucky and we work with one of the big brokerages, they recognize that brokerage brand, but even that is, coming less and less these days. The number one recognized brand in real estate is Zillow today, just with consumers just off the street, just randomly surveyed. It's not our brokerages, right? It's not our names, that's for sure. So these end up being cold calls, even when they were on our website 3 days ago, because they've mostly forgotten about it because they're not going to buy a house for a year. Remember I said you can spend half the people around their seat, they won't know what URL they were on, which means when they click that down and they go back to browsing their Facebook tomorrow, if they want to come back to it, how are they going to get? And we do not convert enough our old leads. I bet, look, if you guys have been in the business for any amount of time and you have a database, I promise you, if you go back into that database and go look, let's say 3 to 5 years ago, and you were to have like a consumer survey company call every one of those leads that came into your website from 3 to 5 years ago, I guarantee there would be like a sickening number of them that had bought a house, but not with you. Like, as an industry, we spend a lot of time focusing on like that new one in the door, not that lead that came in 3 years ago that wasn't actually going to buy for 3 or 3.5 years, who might still be on the verge of buying right now today. So what if we could target them when they were ready, right? What if we could show them stuff not just when they were on your website, but like when they left, everywhere they went when they left, right? What if whenever they searched online, not even thinking real estate, they were like doing the news or shopping in Nordstrom or whatever, that we could have something from you there, just kind of showing up, kind of omnipresent, right? Kind of just in the back of their head, always inside of their real estate experience. I'm sorry, in their internet experience, not even their real estate, in their internet, on their phone. Do all of you guys, is there anybody on this call, Calvin? And this, I have yet, by the way, and I've said this in front of hundreds of people. Anybody on this call that doesn't have their phone within arm's reach? Like, the only way that's going to happen is, first off, if it's on the charger right now, right? You're taking this hour that you're doing this webinar to put it on the charger. That's like the only reason that I've gotten. Everybody's got this thing. How many hours a day? Apple tells you guys, don't lie to yourself. I know my number and I'm embarrassed by it if I'm being honest. We can put you into the phone, right? We can put you into their experience. Yeah, there you go. Sue says, I'm listening on my AirPods, on my phone, watching on my computer. Like, Sue's the perfect target for this program because she's got lots of devices going and there's ads coming through those devices, right? We want sellers to see you everywhere and your marketing, right? Not just like when they decide to start working with you, Sue, during that time when they're considering who they want to work with. Because, Sue, 77% of sellers only meet with one agent. They will interview one agent. The vast majority of people that will list their house this year interview one agent. We need them to be thinking and seeing you everywhere. Okay, so we built this called Brevity Connect. Here's what a few people are saying, like, Phil came to us from somewhere else. The leads are more affordable. That's awesome, right? But I think more than anything, like, right in the beginning, his team got engaged in these leads and they were getting results out of them. And I think, look, I've heard the leads suck my entire career. And I've heard the same, like, one person say the leads suck and the same person and the person right next to them and the desk next to them who's working the exact same leads say, I love these leads. Like, working a database, working leads in the internet is about mindset. And Phil's team was positioned with the great mindset right out of the gates. Why? Because these people would talk to him, right? They had some hot ones. They had some that were ready to, like, go see houses. Jacqueline's had a pretty massive ROI. Now, she's one of our place teams. So she runs all of our systems and models, and she's been in our system and our organization for like 4 years now. So she runs them at a very high level, right? So she gets a great ROI. The crazy thing about ROI, let's just say that I got this quote from her, last July, right? She closed things in August, September, October, November that added that on leads she generated, in July, right, to add to that ROI. So your ROI is always going up. Like, it's really hard to calculate ROI on internet leads because I might close a deal, especially if I'm engaged in this sort of marketing. I might close a deal 3 years after that lead came in. Am I really tracking that ROI all the way back to the dollar I spent, 3 years ago in January? This is another mindset thing. Like, it doesn't matter if the leads are good or, like, what's the saying? My son's in karate and she always says, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Right. It's the same thing in working real estate leads. Whether you believe they suck or whether you believe they're amazing, you're right. And so Ken's team, right out of the gates, right, they were thanking him for the increase in new leads. But the best part is they really wanted to talk to him. Jeff's adding dollars to his bottom line. Now, here's what a traditional lead looks like on the bottom. And each one of those little, lines, right, represents a contact attempt from me or my systems, right? So the average lead comes in, maybe it gets a phone call or two in that first week or something, right? Maybe there's some drip emails going out. Listing alerts are pretty common for most of the systems, right? So I get a listing alert set up, and believe me, when we transition people in, we get to see a lot of your databases and in the former systems that you were in. And we're not using non-listing alerts even on most of our buyer leads for most people, right? And then when you think about this person's journey is going to potentially happen, NAR says over 12 months, right? On average, 12 months, these people that they think about buying today, Sue, and they do not buy for 12 months, right? So you think about your 5 touches over 12 months, maybe you got a listing alert so you get a little bit more consistency in there. I want you to compare that to like how a place team runs their business, how a Brivity client using Brevity Connect is running their business. It's auto plan, 10 days of pain. The 10 days of pain has 22 communications in the first 14 days, combination of texts and emails, right? There's 3 texts that go on the first day. And they're smart, by the way, these plans. If somebody replies, everything stops, right? They're going to get 3 calls from us as a part of that 10 days of pain in the first 10 days. After the 10 days of pain's over, we have a 6-month long lead nurture plan that we roll people into that has 30 some touches over 6 months. Then we get listing alerts and market reports in place. So every day they're getting listings with new properties, and once a week they're getting a market report showing them what's happening, what's going pending, what's selling in that area that they are thinking about buying into. Then we lay over the top of this what we call dynamic property retargeting and display ad retargeting. And we're going to dig into what that is, but it's this layer of advertising that's constantly running on your behalf, targeting that specific individual. The way that Brivity, somebody using Connect, nurtures a lead, you are always there no matter when they get ready, right? They can be ready in month 3 or in month 15, right? We're going to ensure that there's been a massively consistent level of communication with that person or kind of impressions upon that person all along the way. Now, lead quality matters. So Brivity, we're going to get you a name, email, phone number for sure, right? We can get you things like time frame. We'll get these intent-based questions. Are they a buyer? Do they have a house to sell as well? What's their time frame? Are they approved for a mortgage? Right? In some cases, you'll even have return visits back to the website before you even get in and get your hands on and start working that lead. It's a lot of leads. Now, so here's how we do it. Okay. It's a 3-part deal. One is we go get you lower cost leads. And we use Facebook's ad environment to do this. And every day Facebook is adding more apps and more websites that their ads target outside of just Facebook and Instagram environment. Okay. But our team will work with you and we'll combine our digital marketing expertise with your local market expertise. I'll give you an example here in Bellingham, Washington, where Ben Kinney does business. Our founder, he's the one with the local real estate expertise, and Amy Garish and her team here are the ones that have the digital marketing. And so Amy goes to Ben and says, Ben, what's a desirable type of buyer in your market? And Ben says, well, what do you mean, Amy? I mean, Ben knows what she's talking about, but what do you mean, Amy? And Amy says, yeah, if you were going to land the buyer you wanted, who would that buyer be? And so what Ben has to do is have to think, well, what's that? Well, I'd probably want a move-up buyer. Why? Because a lot of move-up buyers here in Whatcom County, they sell another house here or somewhere else in the county, and then they move into Bellingham, right? And I'd probably want it to be one of these Bayview houses, right? They got all these homes in Bellingham that look out over the bay. They're all $1 million plus houses. And if you were going to buy one of those, it's likely you've got a $500,000 or $600,000 house somewhere here in Bellingham or out in the county to sell. So we go, okay, we start targeting ads towards buyers that are interested in Bayview houses. And over time, what happens is, we'll get to that in a second. So we run these ads, okay? We use Facebook forms to capture their information. So you guys are, they click it and it goes, hey, can we use your Facebook to log in, right? And they go, yeah, cool. Or that's me, right? If it's outside of Facebook, that's what we'll do. If it's inside of Facebook, they'll just go, hey, this is you, right? Like we see here, Curtis and your name and your email, your phone number, all that stuff. Facebook's actually sitting on a large percentage of us. They have our phone number. I don't remember ever giving Facebook my phone number. They know my phone number. And when I fill these forms out, my phone number pops right in there. And it's just it's just that conversion. They just go, yeah, that's me. They don't have to type anything. Now, this page is called an interstitial page, which kind of sits between the form and the place we're going to land them. And the reason Facebook does this is because on the fly, we've got computers that are firing back to Facebook a unique link for this Curtis Gold guy. Because when Curtis clicks through to Jeff's website, it's going to log him in from Facebook. He's going to land on Jeff's website. And he's going to be logged in automatically. If you were running advertising on Facebook today on your own, after they clicked on your ad and you had to send them somewhere, you would not be able to send them to your website logged in. I promise they would land there unlogged in. And then if they started poking around, they wanted information, they wanted to schedule a tour, they wanted, they would have to log in and they would be like, wait a minute, I just gave that guy my info on Facebook. Now he wants me to put it in on his website. What's going on here? he might leave. He might never create an account on your website. We create those accounts automatically and drop them on. Like balloons should fall from the ceiling right now. Where are my balloons? Kevin, did you forget to set my balloons up in here, dude? What happened? That's a big deal. That's a big deal, you guys.
One job.
You carried the beginning when my internet wasn't working. That elimination of friction, it makes the consumer experience so much better. They land there and they can just go, right? They don't have to log in. They don't have to do anything. And everything they do on the site after that, every property they look at, right? We see all that and we track it for you. So we do Facebook carousel ads, right? We're feeding all these ads up all the time on the run, right? Based on the kind of the type of buyer that you want to target, right? And remember, like in our markets, we try to target move up buyers so that our buyer leads, our cheap, affordable buyer leads also might be seller leads because these people have to sell before they go move up into the move up price points in our markets. Okay, this is another thing that you can't necessarily do that we're doing at scale. It's called lookalike audiences. So let's say that we do a campaign for you, right? Who are we going to do a campaign? Cade. Let's say we do a campaign for Cade and Cade's team, right? And we generate 100 leads. 10 of those, let's just say 10. 10 of those leads do things that we marked with high intent. We call them high intent activities. So Cade, 100 leads come in and get generated, right? But 10 of those people, they go and set up their own home search. They favorite properties. They request a showing. They come back to the website every day for a week after they registered. Like they're really engaged. We turn around and go, hey, Facebook, thanks for sending us 100 leads. We appreciate it. You sent us 10 though. Here they are. They're these people. And this is all anonymous, right? We don't know. We're just sending this data back and forth. So we're like, you sent us these 10. We really like these ones. Can you get us more like these? And Facebook takes that information and what are we doing? We're training their machines, right? With this machine learning, they take it back and they go, okay, we sent you 100. Let's go find some more people. Like with this data, we can go put the ad in front of people that look like this set of people. And we're not just doing that for Cade. Right? We're doing that for hundreds of Brevity clients that are running this, which means we're sending like massive amounts of data back to Facebook to train them on how to find a better lead for us, for you. Yeah, Sue. Yeah, you work with, so Amy Garrish leads that team and there's a series of account reps on that team who work with you. We could run one set of ads for a month and you come back and say, we want to try to target something different. And they're constantly monitoring. We use a software that monitors the efficiency of these ad sets. And yeah, it's exactly what happens. So, we capture the leads, right? There's all sorts of different types of ads that we can run. We're doing some really good, like some seller, we get seller leads at a pretty good, decent clip, but not the traditional way, which is, see what your house is worth. We're running these campaigns that are like 10 mistakes sellers make. And we got a bunch of stuff that our team they're really smart. And a lot of times the ideas come from you guys and our team just puts them into play, but then we can turn around and share them with other people, right? But another thing we have new leads. Well, you have a database of leads already. And we can actually take that database and feed it up to these places, Google and Facebook, right? And we can engage your existing database as well. And we do that through two kind of avenues. One's called dynamic property targeting. And what dynamic property targeting is anybody that comes to your website. And this is why it's so important that when we take them in from Facebook, we drop them over to your website and we get them logged in there, right? That allows us then, so Facebook goes, okay, we know this is this. As they then go back out in the Facebook ad environment, and by the way, Facebook and Instagram are the major places, but a lot of the apps and the websites that you guys are on today, like, look, they're either the ads you see are serviced by Facebook or by Google. Like 98% of the ads out there are those two things, right? On every app and every website you go to. So what we do is if they come to your website, look at no properties, we start to just show them generic properties in your area, right, Sue? We're going to determine your generic area is Bellingham, right? If you were Ben Kinney up here. So if they've been to our website but not looking at particular properties, we're just kind of serving them properties up around Bellingham. Once they start looking at properties on our website, which almost every lead would come in and have at least one property, right? We got them on the hook on a $500,000 listing here in Bellingham. Then we just follow them around with $500,000 or similar listings in Bellingham. And if they change their behavior later and they go to Linden, Sue, then we'll just change and start showing them properties over in Linden. And our CRM is constantly talking to Facebook and feeding up to it all the people that have been on your website. And then we're letting Facebook know what to show them. And that's a big deal. The amount of return traffic, people that become a lead with you and come back every single day, like for that first week, which makes it so much easier for you to potentially get them on the phone or get them to reply to a text if they're looking on your website every day. And then if they don't end up buying for 9 months or 12 months or a year, we're constantly putting these ads up to them over a long, long duration of time. So really, this is like, I remember seeing this for the very first time when it wasn't even retargeting of this. It was remarketing, but it actually was retargeting. I remember my partner, when we had the real estate business, this was years ago, called me in his office. He's like, "Hey, get in here." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Check this out." And I'm looking at his computer monitor. He's on like CNN. I'm like, "What am I looking at?" And he's like, "That orange couch." And I'm like, "That's a really ugly orange couch. Like, you're not going to buy that, are you?" And he's like, "I don't know. Maybe I am." Like, "Why are you judging my orange couch?" But I was looking at it last night on this other website that they have it for sale on. And now I'm on CNN and it's there. And this was years ago. So this was like a really big deal, right? Today, it's pretty, like, none of us think all that much about the fact, like, for me, it's hats and shoes. You guys, I love shoes and I love hats. And so when I'm on the internet, that's my experience. They're constantly serving me ads, trying to get me to buy new Nikes or Adidas, right? And New Era and Mitchell and Ness are always giving me hat ads, right? Or the different companies, the different stores to sell hats. Like, and then I get real estate ads too, because I spend a lot of time on real estate websites and checking out competitors and different things, right? The funny thing is they don't know if I'm an agent or a consumer. So sometimes I'm getting ads from Zillow and Realtor.com trying to get me to buy a house. And sometimes I'm getting ads from Boomtown and Brivity trying to get me to buy software, right? But like, you guys you experience this. I don't know what your thing is, Sue, but man, the internet knows, right? And we're able to know about these people, and so we can follow them around. So it's either retargeting on the Facebook ad environment, or in Google, that's called remarketing, right? So we work with you guys to build a bunch of kind of custom like ad units, right? That aren't properties, that kind of display your brand message and kind of what you want people to remember you and for you to be known for. And then we beat that message into their head. And listen, Sue, we don't give a rip if they, they lean to the right and they go look at Fox News, and they lean to the left and they go to MSNBC. Like, you're going to be there on both those places. You're going to be on the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post, and you will start to hear things from people like, "Yeah, no, Sue, I totally recognize you. I don't know why." You're like, "Because you see me everywhere you go," right? But after that conversation, they'll start seeing you everywhere you go. The next time you talk to them, they'll be like, you advertise on the Wall Street Journal? Like, holy cow, like, are you like the biggest agent in town? And you can just be like, "Yeah, I am." Right? Now, technically, I only advertise on the Wall Street Journal straight to you, sir. But they don't know that. Seller campaigns, we can do buyer campaigns. Now, listing alerts and market reports, we're going to get these in place. The listing alerts are going to get set up automatically. You may have to go and spend a minute to set their kind of corresponding market report up to make sure they know what's happening, what's selling in those areas. We're going to make sure they're on auto plans, right? So we give you our auto plans. You use your own. You can tweak the ones that we give you, but we give you what it's called the 10 days of pain. We've been using it for years in Ben Kinney's business. It's really aggressive because there was a stat out there in the NAR Home Buyer and Seller Annual Survey a couple of years ago that said that consumers spend an average of about 10 days. Once they start searching, they're like, "We thinking about buying a house." They start going online. They pick the agent they're going to work with in the first 10 days. A lot of times they don't even tell you they're going to work with you, by the way. They're just like, "I like this agent. He's been sending me a bunch of properties. We're not going to buy for 9 months. So I didn't want to bother him right now." But then you stop, right? And then they go, "Oh, dang, I was going to work with that guy, but I guess he stopped." Like, and then they sign up on somebody else's website and they end up working with that person, right? But nurture auto plans, these automated texts, automated emails, and then tasks for you guys to do things at certain frequencies. And like in our 10 days of paint, we even give you scripts of what to say in the phone calls. Brivity Connect on your dashboard so you can kind of spot all the activity, the return visitors, the stuff that's happening, have kind of a place to go and make sure that you guys are, if anybody raising their hand and asking for a showing or anybody favoring properties, like make sure all that stuff is kind of front and center. It just creates warmer calls, easier conversions, right? You still got to pick the phone up and call people. Like, I don't want to act like these leads don't just buy tomorrow, right? Some of them don't buy for a year. But the process of working a lead is dramatically enhanced by this extra layer of marketing that's continually driving them back to you. All right, let's move through really fast. We'll take the next 10 minutes. I'm in some ways blaze through because there's a lot on Brivity kind of beyond the website and the lead gen aspects, right? We can bring leads in from any source. So if you have leads at Zillow, Realtor.com, your old website, doesn't matter. We can get them all funneling into one place, one CRM, either through Zapier, which I would call the duct tape of the internet. It kind of brings systems together, either through Zapier, APIs. So we like have a direct API with Zillow, for example, or lead parsing. We give you an email address. You can go Realtor.com. You go put this email address and say, Realtor.com, send me leads to here, and we'll just suck them right into Brivity and they'll be right in your CRM. The virtual tools and virtual showing forms and virtual sharing and virtual open houses. Here's why I bring this up. And this relates back to this was built by agents for agents. And we use this. When around here, we call it eating our own dog food, right? Like our teams use Brivity. And so when COVID hit, we do open houses. It's like a major component of our place business model. And we do a lot of them. My mom did 26. She's a real estate agent. I tell her story all the time. She sold 79 houses in 2017, her first year in real estate. She had 26 open houses in 1 month. That was pre-COVID, right? So when COVID hits, we're shut down. In a lot of our states, some of our states, we couldn't do any real estate for like a short period of time, right? At all. Couldn't show house, nothing. But in a lot of the states, we could still sell real estate, but we couldn't host open houses. So Ben took our entire dev team, and in 3 days, we built all these virtual tools. Like in 3, we built a safety page on your website that agents could go in and kind of customize to say, show what they were doing to keep people safe during showings, right? When we built all these virtual features, including like the ability to host a virtual open house. Why? Because we're in this with you guys. Like we had a problem, we had to solve in our own business, so we go solve it for every Brivity client, right? Virtual open houses. Now we do regular open houses in a lot of our markets, and most of them we get back to doing regular open houses. So we've got open house registration forms and pages that tap into your CRM. When somebody registers, they immediately fire them into the database. Listing alerts and auto plans can be set up to work on those people automatically. So when you get done with your open house on Sunday and you get home, Sue, I don't know your social situation, Sue, but if you're like me, I have a wife and 2 small children, right? When I was getting home from my open house, I sure wouldn't want to be going back to my database and typing in a bunch of names and phone numbers and email addresses, half of which I can't even read because the people have sloppy handwriting, right? From the sheet or the paper form I had at my open house this weekend. Like I want that stuff fired in there. I want listening alerts and auto plans fired and talking to these people automatically. Monday, I'll check in and be tasked to call them. I'll follow up with them. But Sunday night, I'm going to enjoy with my family. I deserved it, right, Sue? I went out and did the work all day to get all those prospects into my thing to sell my seller's house. Yeah, Kevin. Like 3 weeks later, Kevin's spilling his cereal down between his seats, and he reaches down there to clean the cereal up, and he finds his open house form from a couple of weeks ago. Seller lead capture. We've got the kind of what's my home worth, right? Those kind of landing pages that are very effective for seller lead capture. You guys we give you those, but you can create as many variations of those on your website as you want, right? So in Ben's business, he's got one for what's your Bellingham home worth? What's your Blaine home worth? What's your Linden home worth? What's your Ferndale home worth? Sometimes we'll run advertising that kind of covers the entire county. So we've got one for what's your Whatcom County home worth? We've got one we send to our past clients in our sphere, or our past clients one that says, hey, you bought or sold a house with us in the past, curious what it's worth today, right? We've got one that we send to our friends and family. Hey, friends and family, you guys curious what's going on with your largest asset, your home? Check it out, right? And they just type their address in. They get reports on what their house is worth. In fact, they can even go in and manipulate the comps to change kind of what the report shows based on which comps they pick for their house. Quickly is easily my favorite. It's right up there. There's another thing that's coming in a close second right now, but Quickly I love. It's text-based lead capture. You're going to stop using flyers. We're going to have riders made, and people are going to be able to drive by and text the rider, the code on the rider to get, and it's tapped into the MLS. It happens automatically. You use the same code rider after rider. So you just use you got it in one. That listing sells, awesome. You take it down, you go put the same rider in the next one, and everything behind the scenes is happening automatically where a consumer can drive by, text it, and then get the information based on the GPS location of where they're standing. Super powerful. I always tell a story about the first time Bill Gates signed up on our website, because the real estate company I've mentioned a few times, we sold in Bellevue, Washington. That was where our office was located. In Redmond, Washington, where Microsoft, I could throw a rock to Microsoft's campus. So the first time Bill Gates ever registered on our site, I was so excited, Sue. I ran down to Jonathan. I was like, hey, look at this, man. Can you believe this? And he's like, get out of my office, you moron. Like, this is not Bill Gates. Like, it's fake. We're going to get those, right? Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Bill Gates, FU, Warren Buffett. They all sign up on our websites. We've never once, in the thousands and tens of thousands of quick leads that our team has gotten, and I know this is true for the hundreds of thousands of quick leads that other Brivity clients have got, there's never been a fake one once. It's the person who was out in front who texted. There's a massively awesome strategy if you do any kind of events, local events, home shows, bridal show, you sponsor the Little League baseball game, right? Like, there's a really great strategy with Quickly on how to lead generate. Auto plans, this just automates any leads coming in. We can automate the follow-up, and we can make sure that, like, you have leads coming from Zillow, a buyer lead versus seller lead from Zillow. You want the plans to be different and talk and speak to different things. And so we've got all the different types of plans, and we can set them up to trigger automatically when the lead comes in. And if we don't have a plan, by the way, to the gentleman earlier who'd asked about how we guarantee success, because he might say, well, I need a plan for this, and Ben Key doesn't even do that. Awesome. You can share plans between any Brivity client. We've got 5,000 Brivity teams, right? Somebody's built a plan like you want. And I really think that the kind of the culture and the precedent that Ben has set by being willing to share anything that his business does really trickles down to a lot of our Brivity clients. And they're more than willing to share their auto plans, and it can be done in one click. Listing alerts, like, these have been a thing since we started doing, kind of real estate on the internet, right? We send new properties to a prospect each day, driving them back to our website. Something maybe we've done this a little bit different is we take a lot of opportunities inside of those listing alert emails to ask people if they're thinking about selling their house. We're constantly on the hunt to try to turn your buyer prospects into a seller, because a lot of those people are going to have to sell before they buy, right? This is by far, I'm coming into my 21st year in real estate. I've sent a lot of email. I'm talking, tens of millions. It's not hundreds of millions of emails. Nothing gets opened by real estate consumers at the clip that our market report emails get opened, by 3 times anything we've ever sent ever. And I mentioned my mom, she gets come list me emails. We call them come list me emails, like once a month. Once a month, somebody replies to her market report and goes, Gail, I'm so appreciative you've been sending us for 3 years. I know we haven't spoken for 2 years, but we're ready to sell our house. Like, would you be able to come out on Wednesday? Like, that is not uncommon. These market reports, they just look, if we had these, Zillow came out in 2006. If our MLSs in 2006 would have given us the access to send pending and sold data to our consumers, which, by the way, some MLSs still don't allow this, which is insane to me. But if they would have allowed that back then vendors would have created tools like we've created for you guys, Zillow wouldn't exist. Zillow exists because there was a hole in the market. And the hole was, I want to know what my neighbor's house sold for. I want to know what my house is worth. You can fill that hole now. Okay. Our market reports are massively powerful. It's how we drip on and stay in touch with all our past clients, all our sphere, and really anybody any seller prospects in our database. If we have your email address and a physical address for you, you are getting a market report from us so you can be updated and educated on what's happening around where you live. We've got it's called Go, Brevity Go app in your pocket, your CRM in your pocket on the go, can do all the fun stuff that you need while you're out on the go. We've got a dialer inside of the desktop version of Brivity where you can get kind of efficient with your dialing. It's a single line dialer. It's not a triple line like Mojo, but you can really efficiently make a high volume of calls. Think about this for a second. We ask at a minimum the folks on our team to make about 20 phone calls a day into the database. It's the minimum. Now, most of them are making 30 to 35, in some cases 40. So on average, it's 30. If you make 30 phone calls from your phone, we've sat with our teams and you transition at about 20 seconds per call. Now, in the beginning, when you hang up and then you go in the database, pull the next lead up, they're doing it at like 12 seconds because they know they're being timed. By the end of a 30 call session, they're down to like 30 to 35 seconds of transition time. They're just a little bit slower. It takes a little bit longer to get the next lead pulled up. They dial the phone number and ring. It doesn't seem like that much time. On average, it's 20 seconds lost, but we do 30 calls a day, right? We're losing 10 minutes every day, which means every week we lose 50 minutes just dialing the phone. Doesn't seem like that much, but it's an hour that I didn't need to lose. Sue, like, I don't know what you'd do with your extra hour. I have a 4 to 5-year-old. I love my boys at this age. I'm probably going to go spend it with my boys, right? But we get that decision. We call that luxury or leverage, by the way. The extra hour the dialer earns back, if I invested it in my business, the dialer gave me leverage. If I take that extra hour and I invested it in my family, my hobbies, that's luxury, right? That's a luxury. I got to save an hour in my business. I had the luxury of investing back into my children. We got a dashboard. We talked about that earlier. The message center, if you run a team, this message center, one of the best places you can help your people get better at what they say. We're tracking inside of Brivity all the outgoing and incoming text messages coming through your Brivity phone numbers. And so we love this area for helping coach agents up, right? If a lead comes in and says, as a response to one of the texts in the 10 days of pain, I'm just looking, I'm just browsing. And our agent replies by saying, okay, sounds great. Let me know if you need anything. I know if they get somebody on the phone and the person says, I'm just browsing, they're going to say, okay, sounds great. Let me know if you need anything. What I want them to say, what we want them to say is, oh man, that's so awesome. Pauline, we're so glad you found our website to start browsing. Very cool, very cool. Everybody starts by just browsing. Listen, where do you guys currently live? Oh, that's awesome. In Bellingham, do you own or rent right now? Right? Like, I want to start getting to know this person from the jump, right? I don't just want to be the, okay, let me know if you need anything guy. And so we can train our people to say the right things by watching what they say in text. Because when they have time to think about it and they say the wrong thing, we know they're going to say the wrong thing on the phone. Carly, we have something called our real estate success principles. We believe if you say the right thing, you say it to the right people, and you say it enough times, and you can be successful doing anything in real estate. Like any angle you take, as long as you're saying the right thing, you're saying it enough times, and you're saying it to the right people at the right time, like, we can be successful. This is how we help our people get better at real estate success principle number 1, say the right thing. We have a CMA tool that you can price properties and create full, beautiful CMAs inside of Brevity, right? We're tapped into the MLS. All the data is coming straight out of your MLS. Smart transaction, auto plans. I could do a whole hour on transactions. Our transaction management is some of the top in the industry. We have people in our world that manage 400 to 500 transactions a year by themselves with VA help, but using Brivity. It automates massive components of the communication inside of a transaction, and it also creates transparency, letting your clients have a portal they can log into to see everything you guys are doing to help either bring their buyer pending through to closing or to get their listing sold. Really powerful stuff. I was going to show you, I'm at the end, Brevity Marketer. We have a marketing suite. It's actually worth showing, and I'll have this be the last thing before I just kind of close up here. Here you can see it's Brevity Marketer. This guy's running, like, he's getting leads at like $1.05 or something ridiculous inside of Brevity Marketer. But what Brevity Marketer does is we can do direct mail marketing in here. We can do print media where we can easily create flyers or open house sign-in sheets or door hangers or whatever kind of print we may need for our business. We can run our own digital ads. So you don't want us to run it for you. All the stuff I was talking about with Brevity Connector, you can run your own, which is what we just saw from Cody there. We generated 56 leads or 46 leads for a $50 budget. We've got really easy social media marketing materials. By the way, this is all tapped into the MLS. So if I wanted to create let's say a just listed flyer, I'd literally come in here and be like, which flyer design do I like? I really like this one. Awesome. Which property am I going to do? Well, I'm going to the listing I'm trying to do is this. Let's see if we can find one that's pretty. Well, I'm not the prettiest one, but boom, guess what? Flyer done. And I could go in and edit this and change the photos if I wanted and change but that's how fast I can make a listing flyer, because we got the listing and MLS data right there for you. Super cool. Brevity Marketer is like I think the word game changer gets used a lot. I think overused. That's a game changer for your listing marketing. If you're a Brevity client. And then we've got this thing called Brevity Designer. We've got Brevity VAs, where you can hire a VA that comes trained in Brevity. We manage them. We've got about 500 VAs deployed into various real estate businesses, Brevity client real estate businesses, lots of training and help. All right, here's the deal. If you're not a Brevity client right now and you're like, I think I need to talk to somebody, like, I want to know the pricing, just text platform to 59559. Like, literally pull your phone out right now. You're going to send a message to the number 59559. And the body of the message is going to be the word platform. Just send platform. It'll send you back a link where you can go book on a calendar, whatever you want to talk to us. We'll probably reach out and call you anyway. We have price points that go all the way from very affordable to like less affordable as your needs grow, right? As your data needs and the size of your team is larger. There's kind of price breaks along the way. Look, Ben, we built this. We built it in a way that people could afford it when they didn't have a massive business, but they could grow into a big business if that was their agenda or their aim. And we've done it. We've grown businesses of all sizes and on a variety of markets using this software. But I think, again, more than that, into the question earlier of how do we guarantee success in real estate, it's not just the software, you guys. It's that we're in here doing this. Like, we have, every day, like today, we're going to do, we call them happy hours, and I'll host it. And we're going to showcase the guy's marketer account we were just in, and how he's getting leads for $1.05 a lead or $1.10 or whatever his metrics are. It's ridiculously affordable leads. Like, we're constantly showing you like actually what we're doing to run these really big real estate businesses across the country. So text platform to 59559. My name is Bob Stewart. I hope Kevin was able to, Carly, keep up with any questions you guys have. Carly, I'm gonna take care of that for you. I don't like the word gone dark on it. That seems really insane that one of our people would go dark on you. Carly, I'll make sure somebody calls you today. All right. You guys have an awesome rest of your week, right? Somebody go out and sell $1 million house this weekend. And we are here at Brivity when you guys are ready to bring systems and models and kind of take your business to the next level. Have an awesome day, you guys. My name is Bob. Bye. Thanks, Kevin. Mira, BVS is our valuation tools that come. They used to be kind of separated, and just recently we rolled them all up into the website. So it's the valuation landing pages that your website has. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Vicky. I really appreciate you joining us. If you're on the 2-user plan, can you add the CMA tool? Yeah, Sue, you should add the CMA tool. Like, if you're still on here, Sue, just for the market report functionality out there, I'm telling you, it's probably like the best drip mechanism that you have for your past clients in your sphere. Gary, have an awesome afternoon, my friend. All right, Sue, we'll talk to you guys later. And Carly, I'll make sure Carly Moore gets you a call. Bye, guys.